Concerns brewing among federal workers and Democratic representatives as President Donald Trump makes new moves to further downsize the government. The pressure mounting on federal judges as a new wave of tariffs comes to the U.S.
It's already damp and drizzly, but rain, thunderstorms, heavy downpours all on the way as we continue to track some significant temperature changes over the next week.
As new Chinese tariffs hit the U.S., President Donald Trump says that he is poised to impose more taxes on foreign goods. And that's just one move the president made over the weekend as he swiftly works to reshape the federal government. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer Sanders.
And I'm Will Dupree. And tonight for Daniel Marine. As NBC's Vaughn Hilliard reports, Democrats are mobilizing and labor unions are looking to the courts to slow down the Trump administration's actions.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
President Trump on Sunday making that announcement, adding there will also be a 25% import tax on aluminum. The president adding he intends to tax almost every country that taxes U.S. exports, except the ones he says treat the U.S. fairly.
The ones that are taking advantage of the United States, we're going to have it's reciprocity, it's reciprocal.
Canada is the biggest exporter of steel and aluminum to the U.S. And in the short term, these tariffs could raise prices. But experts say they see investment in the long term. Today, China tariffs on U.S. goods set in, meaning American companies could soon feel the pinch. Meanwhile, Democrats figuring out how they'll respond more effectively to Musk and Trump's torrent moves to overhaul the government.
21 days, we have seen Elon Musk conducting illegal raids on federal agencies with his Doge crew.
Today, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer laying out strategies to fight back with oversight, litigation, legislation, and communication and mobilization. And in a Boston courtroom, a judge hearing arguments on the Trump buyout proposal or deferred resignation plan. Another deal to shrink the federal government, offering workers 8 months' pay before they resign. Critics say there's too many questions and employees could lose money if they accepted it. Senior administration officials tell NBC News more than 60,000 federal workers had accepted the offer before a judge paused the deal for this hearing. Here on Capitol Hill, Democrats say they have leverage in the upcoming budget negotiations because of the small majorities that Republicans have here in the Congress, and that any deal that Speaker Johnson were to come up with could very well need some Democratic members' support. But if the two sides can't come to an agreement, the government could shut down by the middle of March. Here in Washington, Vaughn Hilliard, NBC News.
President Trump says that he has now directed the Treasury Department to stop minting new pennies. The president announced that policy change on social media last night, citing the rising cost of producing the 1-cent coin. The U.S. Mint reported losing more than $85 million last year on nearly 3.2 billion pennies. Each penny costs a little under 4 cents to produce. It's unclear, though, whether Trump has the power to unilaterally eliminate the 1-cent coin. Specifications for currency, including the size and the type of metal used for coins, are dictated by Congress. The Mint also loses money on the nickel, with each of the 5-cent coins costing nearly 14 cents to make a piece.
And going in depth right now, analysts say the impact of getting rid of the penny should be minimal. Currently, 114 billion pennies are in circulation, which makes up for about $1.14 billion. Experts say if we got rid of the penny now, it could actually take decades for it to fully go away. But there could be implications for price changes and inflation. Making the penny disappear would change the price of many small goods, with businesses possibly rounding up more often than down. A Hamas spokesperson said today the militant group will delay the next planned release of hostages and accuse Israel of violating the ceasefire agreement. The announcement marks the first major crisis for the ceasefire, and this came at a sensitive time with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu under heavy pressure to bring home hostages. Israel and Hamas are in the midst of a 6-week ceasefire, and during which Hamas has committed to releasing 33 hostages captured in its 2023 attack, all in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. The sides have carried out 5 swaps since the ceasefire went into effect last month, freeing 21 hostages and more than 730 Palestinian prisoners.
First Warning Weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
We've got fog, drizzle, and some light rain moving through Central Texas right now. This is the view from the Domain camera, or Indeed weather camera, where you can usually see Q2 Stadium pretty well, but you can't now that the clouds are lowering and fog is developing. On top of that, we've got some light rain showers moving through parts of the metro and into the hill country. A more significant round of what is still light rain moving into the Dripping Springs area. Lampasas as well, getting a nice shower, and you've just had some rain move through the Florence area, and it's over Gerald now, moving to the north and out of our viewing area. It is chilly today, mid 40s to upper 40s for most. Into our eastern counties, a little more warmth with some 60s, but most of us will be closer to 50 the next several hours, with not a lot of temperature drop coming, but not much warming either. Increasing rain chances and also slowly developing fog. Coming up in First Warning Weather, lots to talk about. Showers and storms tomorrow into tomorrow night. Some wild temperature swings that may bring some of us some freezes over the next week.
Nick, thanks so much. We have an update to a story we brought you last week. A 20-year-old man is facing an additional charge in a sexual assault case involving at least 3 children. KXAN French Burton now faces a new charge of sexual assault, a second-degree felony. This is in addition to 1 count of continuous sexual abuse of a child and 4 counts of sexual assault of a child, including 1 in Hayes County. Austin Public Health is providing contact tracing to possible victims, though no agency has confirmed whether the suspect has an STI due to patient privacy laws. We did reach out to French Burton's attorney for a statement on these new charges. We'll let you know when we hear anything back.
Concerns are now growing in West Texas of an escalating measles outbreak, with at least 10 cases already reported in Gaines County. That's about 70 miles north of Midland over the past 2 weeks. All of this according to Texas Health and Human Services. Of all 10 cases, 8 patients are school-aged children and 7 have been hospitalized. The Department of State Health Services says all of the patients are unvaccinated. Health officials are working to investigate that outbreak.
An Austin nonprofit children's museum is responding to allegations against its staff and facilities in the wake of a demonstration held by some of its floor team members last week. Leadership at the Thinkery said that 7 staff members demonstrated outside the museum Friday to raise awareness of, quote, ongoing safety issues. Some of the allegations made online claim the museum has a lack of safety protocols, including no missing child or active shooter plans. We spoke to the Thinkery's CEO, Andy Bell, who denounced those claims, saying every staff member undergoes active shooter and missing child trainings.
I think it's really important for our community to know that when you visit Thinkery, that you are in safe hands and that we're doing everything that we possibly can to ensure the safety of our visitors.
The flyer also outlines staff demands for a minimum wage of $22 an hour at the museum. In a statement by the Thinkery, its officials said they are offering forums between floor staff, managers, and leadership, and will look into changes based on the feedback that they get.
A Senate bill filed today would require the 10 Commandments to be displayed in Texas public schools. Republican Phil King filed that bill. He said the commandments are essential for Texas students to fully understand history and the law. King points to the 10 Commandments monument outside the Capitol as a symbol of the importance to Texas, but opponents worry displaying the commandments in schools would impose religion on students. A similar bill passed the Senate in 2023 but failed to get a House vote. Building a brighter future for the ecosystem of the world's oceans, the program working to lock in a prosperous future for the Texas coast.
Providing essential medical care with a sprinkle of compassion on the way out the door. The work Ascension Seton is doing to be there for young mothers and their families.
An unlikely friendship and an adventure that sounds like the setup to a good joke. The weekend hike taken by a blind dog and an ambitious pig in Central Texas. Ascension Seton Medical Center is looking to provide more help for young mothers and their families by launching its Compassion Closet. So the goal here is to provide clean clothes to new moms and their families who don't otherwise have access to them. This all comes after Ascension Seton says its staff noticed a growing number of women who did not have access to clean clothes after delivering their babies.
We saw a need. This was an idea that actually came from one of the other floors. We recognize that it's something that our patients would really benefit from here on Mother Baby. We have renamed it the Bump to Baby Boutique, and we have it available to all of our patients.
And the closet has shirts, sweatpants, socks, diaper bags, and infant and toddler clothes. Since it first opened back in December, Ascension Seton's Compassion Closet has helped more than 20 families.
This next story sounds like it came from the plot of a children's book. A Central Texas pig and a blind dog went on an adventure this weekend when they went missing for a day. The Austin Animal Center posted on social media here saying Peppa the pig and Amy the blind dog trekked along State Highway 290 this weekend, with Peppa leading the way to a general store in Austin's Harris Branch neighborhood. Neighbors there saw the two and tipped off Austin Animal Protection officers, who rescued the two animals and reunited them with their owner.
Temperatures today, easily the coldest day of the month. Our high of just 50, which is 16 degrees below average. It also made it our coldest day since January 21st, almost 3 weeks ago. We've got more chilly air in place, some potential freezes in spots, storms, and big temperature warm-ups too. Lots to get to in First Warning Weather.
Construction of the world's largest artificial reef delayed yet again. The SS United States is scheduled for sinking in the Gulf off the western coast of Florida, where it will serve as a home for thousands of fish.
Originally scheduled for a transport from Philadelphia to Alabama this past weekend, issues at the pier led to the delay, and a new date has not yet been set. Meanwhile, Texas is making its own push to artificial reefs, all in an effort to protect fish along our coast.
And KXAN's Eric Henriksen takes a closer look now at the program and how it's moving the Texas Railroad under the sea.
An old fishing trolley cleaned and sunk off the coast.
That one vessel is now home to thousands and thousands of fish.
Old concrete rail ties carried to the coast and then dumped into the sea.
And they create cracks and crevices for these little fish to hide in.
Curtis Hands and the Friends of the RGV Reef have spent 8 years building this artificial reef out of reused materials.
So it's really a combination of a lot of different habitats to carry these fish along their life stages and to keep the fish in the reef.
Friends of the RGV Reef is one of 2 groups building these structures alongside Texas Parks and Wildlife.
There's not much rocky, hard bottom habitat for animals and fish to have refuge and to provide food and things like that.
Lindsay Savage leads Texas Parks and Wildlife's efforts. She says these reefs help many baby fish reach maturity.
It gives them that extra little bit of protection when they're smaller to get out into deeper waters offshore.
In deeper waters,
we have the Rigs to Reefs program, which essentially takes decommissioned oil rigs and uses those as artificial reefing material.
Over the next few years, 11 to 12 old rigs will be added to the program.
We have a whole process where they donate 50% of their realized savings from reefing versus scrapping, and that goes to our account to help maintain the site, monitor it, making sure that we're doing our due diligence to keep the site healthy.
All leading to a healthier ocean. Eric Henriksen, KXAN News.
The Friends of the RGV Reef plan to expand the habitat in the near future. They're sinking 2 additional vessels and plan to drop nearly 20,000 tons of new material in that area. Going in depth now, there are more than 7 square miles of intentionally artificial reefs in U.S. oceans, according to NOAA. That's about the size of 3,600 football fields. A report from 2020 found that deployment of artificial reefs led to an increase in fish population without depleting the population of nearby natural reefs.
Okay, turning now to Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon. It's one of those days where you kind of just want to stay inside. The sun isn't
just
really
like
shining.
we are today, right?
Yeah, I know. It's damp outside, drizzly
You're like
as well.
volunteering for work today. Work today. Yeah.
We'll stay in the office.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, considering we're almost at 90 on Saturday, temperatures have really taken a tumble, and we've got a lot of temperature changes to show you for the next week. This is how it looks outside right now in Georgetown from our Ewald Kubota weather camera, where you're just in the 40s right now. In fact, most of the metro and the hill country in the 40s. Our eastern counties seeing more of those 50s and 60s. On top of that, we've got areas of fog, drizzle, and some light rain moving through the area. Of course, this is beneficial stuff. And there's more showers across the state. Nothing too heavy at this point, although we do think the rain coverage will go up tonight. Trough of low pressure digging through the western states, helping to throw more moisture our way, and also some eventually increasing storm chances for the day tomorrow. So our shower chances go up here tonight, so it'll get increasingly wet. At least half of the area getting light measurable rain tonight. And then tomorrow morning, especially from mid to late morning, we run the risk for some scattered downpours and thunderstorms. Starting in the hill country, 6, 7 in the morning, moving into the metro, 8, 9, 10 in the morning, and then into our eastern counties closer to midday. So our stormiest weather tomorrow looks to be in the morning and then again late at night, with somewhat of a calmer period in the afternoon, but not completely dry, just a few spotty showers then. Then our rain chances start to go up late tomorrow night. This is 10 p.m., some showers around, and then here comes another round of thunderstorms in the middle of the night. Could actually wake you up in the middle of the night here, 1 a.m. Wednesday. But these storms should be out of here by the time you're actually getting out the door Wednesday morning. Aside from a stray shower in our eastern counties, then we'll quickly increase the sun and increase the warmth. How much rain are we expecting by Wednesday morning? 1/4 inch to an inch for most of us. But especially northeast of Austin, we could see 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches, and there'll probably be some localized 2 or 3 inch rainfall amounts as well. And there is a 2 out of 4 flash flooding threat in eastern Williamson County, Milam County, and most of Lee County Tuesday into Wednesday morning as well. For the majority of the rest of us, the flood threat is fairly low at a 1 out of 4. Strong cold front that moved through over the weekend is now settled to the south of us, and just 40s and low 50s account for the temperatures across much of the state. We're not going to drop temperatures much tonight. We're basically holding steady at 49 for overnight lows, and temperatures tomorrow will be a little warmer than today, but not by much. We're going with a high of 59, still below average, with 80% of us getting measurable rain and storms tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night, and then those rain chances dropping. So a cool day tomorrow, but warmer than today. But then look at the temperature jump for Wednesday. We'll go back into the 80s in our eastern counties, almost to 80 in Austin, and mid to upper 70s in the hill country, but only for one day, because another cold front, a strong one, Wednesday evening, drops us down into the mid-30s Thursday morning, and only highs in the 40s with a low 10% rain chance and some patchy freezes. Then the temperatures go up through Saturday and then tumble back down Sunday before another slow warm-up Monday. We'll be right back.
News Nation tonight. Leland Vittert hits primetime with 3 big guests. Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich on his potential presidential pardon, plus Congressman Jim Jordan and the one and only Bill O'Reilly. On Balance debuts tonight at 9, 8 Central on News Nation.
Texas lawmakers are reviving efforts to eliminate the decades-long practice of changing the clocks twice a year. Several members of the Texas House and the state Senate have filed legislation meant to put an end to the seasonal tradition of losing an hour of sleep in the spring due to the start of daylight saving time, only to gain that hour back in the fall when clocks revert back to standard time. Texas will begin observing daylight saving on March 9th. Most of the bills, though, filed so far aim to adopt daylight saving time year-round, but one would adopt standard time year-round here in the state.
Some stores are now limiting the number of eggs per customer, while others are totally out of stock. As we've reported, the bird flu is behind the egg shortage across the nation. Millions of Americans are scrambling from store to store looking for eggs as prices soar. Now, on average, a dozen large eggs is surging to over $7. That's according to the USDA, and that's if you can find them. Many shoppers are discovering empty shelves, and with a surge of stockpiling, now some national retailers are restricting how many eggs people can actually buy. Trader Joe's says it's limiting customers to 1 dozen per day across the nation. And some Costco customers are now reporting their local stores are restricting egg purchases as well. This all comes after the CDC identified more than 20 poultry farm flu outbreaks in the first 5 days of this month alone.
Italy's deputy premier and its transport minister visited Milan today to check on construction of the Olympic Village there for the 2026 Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games. So far, construction wrapped up for 6 buildings that make up the core structure of the Olympic Village. This will mark the first time that a European country has hosted the Winter Games since Italy staged them back in 2006. The Olympics will run from February 6th through the 22nd of next year, with the Paralympics to follow in March. We'll be right back.